Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to January 24th, 2022. This is a meeting of the Special Subcommittee of Right-of-Way Governance for the House Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications Committee. Thank everyone for coming this afternoon. What we're here for this afternoon is to have a discussion around what is known as House Bill 328. This subcommittee met over the summer multiple times, Zoom, due to the various versions of the Omicron variant. We were never able to come together in person. We had a couple of those scheduled and it just never happened. So what we want to do today is what we discussed really on I think the last Zoom call. We had an ongoing situation that Representative Montahan dealt with in House Bill 328 that we were going to try to wrap into a larger solution. We were not able to get all that done because of the Omicron variant and unable to get all the parties together. So what we have, the posture we're in is Representative Montahan has House Bill 328 back over for action of the House from the Senate in what we call an agree posture. That means it doesn't have to come through the committee process. But given the discussion we had around this, we wanted to have a discussion on the language that was in that agree. Oftentimes we don't have a lot of time with that because that's going on at the end of the session, given we have that time consideration and given that it affects a number of people and there was an agreement by the parties involved. We wanted to give folks this afternoon the opportunity to speak to that. So that's the reason we're here. To be clear, this committee does not have the bill to act on. The bill is actually in front of the House subject to the call of the Speaker for an agree disagree, which would represent an action toward final passage. I believe in technical terms that there would have to be an amendment to correct an effective date since a year has passed. But what we would like to do today is I'd like everyone to reference their packet. You should have, tell me, Blake, if I'm right, LC 364995. Yes. That is a fresh bill, but that bill is exactly the same language. If you're out in the audience and you have LC 364712S, which came over from the Senate last year. And you can compare, and I have compared line for line. So that's what we'd like to invite people to speak to. And then we would make that recommendation for discussion to Chairman Parsons from the subcommittee. And we would continue our work as a subcommittee subject to the guidance of Chairman Parsons on some larger rights of way issues that affect folks that do business in Georgia and all of the Georgians that pay their bills one way or the other. With that, does the committee have any questions before we move forward? Let me recognize again, Blake Doss. Y'all all help me congratulate Blake. He's now Mr. Blake Doss. I don't know how that works. Anyway, he was married a week ago Saturday. So give Blake a. We're still checking with his new bride to make sure she's going to keep him past the warranty date. But now we do wish him the greatest. And y'all understand when staff has those personal things that happen during session. They had a very short honeymoon. He was back in the Capitol Tuesday of last week. So it's really amazing what people do for Georgia and Georgians on the staff. So we appreciate that. Have Ms. Sean Marie Story at the end of the thing down there. And I would, again, thank you for everything you've done for us. And can you, with a nod of the head or a thumbs up, I am correct in saying you drafted these pieces of legislation for us, that I have depicted that correctly, and that both items we have. So it is not our intent to change it from the Senate thing. And I'm sorry, we have someone else down there I don't recognize. An interloper, he says. No, I won't go that. So Noel, Miss Noelle Lambert, I suspect she works with Mr. Doss in the office. So thank you for being here today. The rest of you guys, they've seen, so we appreciate the member. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I've decided this year with there has to be a little levity in this. It's serious business that we do for the citizens of Georgia, but I appreciate everybody being down here, and we're down here long hours, and sometimes what they say, the long days turn right into weeks. So I appreciate everybody being here. we have other members. We have other members online, and we'll go to them if they have any questions. But with that, I'd like to ask the parties that helped broker, if you will, a solution. And I think as you come up, if any and all of you, if you want to speak briefly to the compromise, from what you all have told me, it was the definition of compromise. That is a place where no one got exactly what they want, but everybody got closer to the middle. So with that,
I don't mind starting us off if that's all right. Good afternoon, committee members. Charlotte Davis. I'm with the Georgia Municipal Association. First, I just want to thank the special subcommittee for reviewing this issue. Chairman Martin, for your leadership on it. For EUT members who've been on the committee for a while, I know that you have heard from the cities and heard from the industry for quite some time now about this fiber issue. Thank you, Representative Montahan, for bringing your bill and helping us work through some of what our issues were. On the city side, as y'all might recall, we did oppose the bill. We had concerns with it. And largely, aside from the rate issue, we were really hoping to see what the GDOT rulemaking process, to allow that process to go through and see how it ended. With the new proposed, excuse me, with the new rule, cities are not in the new rule. And so therefore our rate structure would go away. There is a caveat in the current board rule that has been passed that allows for the current rates to exist only to July 1. So that puts us in the situation of now needing a rate structure in statute. And that's exactly now what House Bill 328 does. So again, I really appreciate the work that this committee did, especially for you, Chairman Martin and Representative Montahan, and two, for the industry that we've worked with this on for a long time now. So Kimberly, do you have any additional comments?
Thank you. Kimberly Adams with Crown Castle, and I won't belabor it. I think I've been before you for many years now. I think 4 to 5 years now we've been working on this issue. So definitely this is a great day that I can have a GMA next to me and we're on the same side. And thank you for all your help, and Representative Montahan for sponsoring this bill. We do have other members of industry with me today, Verizon, AT&T. My colleagues are also in support. So thank you.
thank you, guys. I will turn a couple of things off there. Yeah, thank you guys for doing that, and to just bring the committees or remind the committee what as this existed before, there were higher fees for this type of service that would come through a right of way, based on a suburban, urban, and so forth. And we were trying to change that for the cities last year in Representative Montahan's bill. My pause with it personally, that not everyone shared, but I wanted to have a discussion on, which I think allowed Chairman Parsons to create this committee with a go fix at the end. And we have yet to find the final answer. Was we were going to cut what the cities could charge, but the DOT was going to still charge the higher rate. And it seemed to me if the rate was too high, then we as a state should take that on too. And the DOT has done that with their rate structure, as you should all remember. So thank you both for that. Does the committee have any questions in person or online for these two folks? If you guys would stand for questions, there are none. Thank you. Anyone else that wishes to be part of the praise for this grand compromise? You don't have any other sponsors?
Got comments. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for recognizing.
We'll recognize you for a brief comment.
Well, thank you. Okay, so I'll keep it brief. You know, in the words of Mr. Rogers, it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And so glad to have them working together. Goodness gracious, 4 years on this bill. Even before I was on this committee or in the House, and I'm just proud to bring it across the finish line today. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, I think. No, thank you. In all seriousness, thank you for the work. And it does, I don't want to go too far afield here, but it does bring up, this is the first stage toward, working on some other issues with the rights of way that need to be worked out. Again, I appreciate the DOT's leadership. I don't know if anybody from DOT is in the room, but if you are, thank you for your leadership on this, in fixing these rules. I would be remiss if I didn't just be transparent about it. I do think it is the legislature's job to come up with these fees for this and not to DOT to set fees by rule. We certainly, if we don't set them at a level the DOT needs to fund the right of way, then we have to fund that. But I think we will continue to work with the commissioner and the folks at DOT to do that. But I do feel like it's a legislative process to set the fees, and we're moving toward that. This is a good first step. Anyone else in the industry or anyone that would like to speak to this? Again, this is more just for information to make sure everybody understands what will be happening at the call of the speaker on the agree later on, and to let the committee on that we understand that this is just a small and first step toward right-of-way governance or bringing right-of-way governance in Georgia into the 21st century. Hearing none, the committee doesn't need to take any action. Again, this is not before us in the subcommittee, but we will report this to Chairman Parsons, and I think he will make note of that report and again give us our orders in terms or our mission, if you will, of what he'd like to see us as we continue to work on the right-of-way. If there's nothing further before the subcommittee, we can stand adjourned. Anything further? Nothing further. We will stand adjourned without objection. I hear no objection. This meeting is adjourned.